The Death God's Daily Troubles by MagicalDucky. Chapter 18.5 Heroes and Magical Girls aren't too far off each other, are they? Edge of the Middle District, 7th Squad Barracks. Halbert's point of view. The screech of metal grinding against metal rang in my ears as my hands shook from the shock wave that blasted through my hands. The silver blade of the greatsword in front of my eyes shifted in a blur as I put strength into my legs and rolled off to the side. Immediately after I moved, the sound of the ground cracking reached my ears, and I regained my balance as I saw a flash of an indistinct red figure out of the corner of my eye. How is she still this fast? I held my own greatsword up to see the sunlight shine through the crystal-clear blade that seemed like it was made of pure glass, and I immediately shifted to my left side before channeling mana into my body, strengthening my magic while simultaneously activating reinforcement on my greatsword. As I gripped my teeth, I braced for impact. A hazy white light shone in front of my greatsword, and the crimson-red blur stopped in place for a split second before another heavy shock wave was transmitted into me through my hands. The pure force blasted me a few feet away, and I barely managed to flip myself over in midair before landing shakily. As soon as I stood up, again I glanced around to see if I could catch even a glimpse of the opponent, but this time all I could see was an empty field in front of me. Damn, I lost sight of her. Where is she? The sound of a single footstep behind me reached my ears, and I immediately swung my head around to see the crimson-red blur dash towards me before the arc of silver met my blade in another head-on clash. I desperately pumped mana into my body, strengthening magic, and pushed as hard as I could against the ground, but after a moment, I was just barely overpowered, and my legs gouged out the earth beneath me as I was pushed back while the vague red figure slipped past me using the momentum from the previous swing. I twisted my head around as she disappeared from the corner of my eye again to begin to dance around me, always attacking from just slightly out of my line of sight. There wasn't even a moment to reposition or even move my legs as one strong impact after another was barely being blocked by my greatsword after pushing my body to the limit every time I was able to react. I can't keep this up much longer. She's already controlling my tempo. I need to find an opening faster. I need to be faster. I can't win if I'm this slow. I need to at least be able to see her. My eyes widened as the mana flowing around my body increased as a good portion of it flooded into my eyes. I felt like I could see clearly again with my kinetic vision. It was pushed to its utmost limit. I could finally catch a clear view of Captain Arya as she danced around me. A small sense of confidence built up inside of me as I began to ever so slightly speed up before there was finally an opening. Another arc of silver clanged against my greatsword as I kicked against the ground with my legs, and the momentum from the blade dance stopped abruptly after finally meeting its match as I pushed back after blocking her swing. This is it. The opening I need. I let out a yell as lightning element mana coursed through my body, through my hands and into my blade. A brilliant blue glow shone out of my greatsword as arcs of blue lightning swirled around it like serpents, and I took a heavy step forward before swinging with all my might towards Captain Arya. But it seems that I was underestimating her a little too much. She instantly reacted, ducking under my blade and kicking off the ground before swinging from below. A solid hit connected with my chest, and my stomach churned from the impact as I hacked out a cough before being blown into the air again. A moment later, I crashed back down onto the ground, barely managing to even get up this time as I gasped for breath and stared at Captain Arya, who was standing there with a sharp glint in her eyes. "Are you giving up?" I felt my strength return a bit as her crystal-clear voice rang out in my ears before I looked up and held my great sword again as I called out raggedly that I could go on. I can continue. This will probably be the final strike. I don't have anything else left in me. A pair of piercing red eyes just stared at me for a second while I prepared myself for the final attack. I inhaled a deep breath and grit my teeth, and time seemed to slow down. I saw Captain Arya kick up against the ground again in slow motion and start to make a straight dash towards me as she readied her sword to swing from below. A moment passed, and the sensation of slow motion as I tried to put strength to my legs, but no matter how much I tried, they wouldn't budge. Come on. Is this your limit? You can't even beat Captain Arya, and she's going easy on you. How the hell are you going to be a hero like this? How the hell are you going to beat Rengis and Zane like this? Just be stronger. Just be faster. Just move, damn it. She's getting closer. She's dashing right in because she believes you can continue, so you show her that she's right. I screamed internally at myself as my legs were burning to give out. But they only served to fuel my rage and my own weakness before finally I felt a jolt enter through my hands and spread through my body instantaneously as something inside of me clicked. A cool feeling flooded out from deep inside of me, and I felt strength enter my legs again as a strange sense of tranquility encompassed me. I need something strong, something fast, something to show her that she was right to believe in me. Should I use a sword technique again? No, she'll just dodge it. What I need is a single swing, the strongest swing I know, one that's fast enough and strong enough that she can't dodge it. I emptied my mind and closed my eyes as I searched deep inside for the form of the strongest sword swing I could imagine. However, what showed up in my head was an unexpected figure. Captain Arya is the strongest opponent I have ever had the chance to cross blades with, and I've witnessed her training countless times. So I completely expected it to be an image of Captain Arya that showed up. However, the image I saw instead was of a solitary man. He had a head full of snow-white hair that was tied into a ponytail, along with golden eyes that seemed to see through your entire being. In one hand he held a sword made of pure ice, and in the other a single piece of chalk. He threw that piece of chalk up into the air, and after a moment he took the sword in his hand and swung it. I couldn't understand anything at the time. It was too quick and too subtle for me to understand, but now I finally realized just how terrifying that swing was. That single swing was beyond even that of the level of a swordmaster. It was closer to an absolute peak of swordsmanship. It was a sword swing that had been utterly refined to the point where it was integrated into the very being. And for the single instant that sword made contact with the piece of chalk in the air, it felt like even I was being sliced into pieces. I fell into a hazy trance as I finally opened my eyes to see Captain Arya directly in front of me, and every last bit of mana I had left was driven straight into my body, strengthening my magic as I gripped my greatsword with both of my hands before clumsily imitating that single swing. The air surrounding my greatsword screeched as I sliced through it, and the sight of the crystal-clear edge of my greatsword making contact with another silver one surrounded my hazy white glow as the last thing I saw before accompanying bursts of wind made me pass out. I let out a light groan and slowly woke up as I felt my body cramp up a bit before taking a look at my surroundings. The familiar sight of the medical bay in the 7th Squad barracks met my eyes as I sat there for a moment before going through my memory. Ugh, what happened? Last thing I remember was sparring with Captain Arya. She was completely controlling the tempo like usual, but I somehow found an opening. I used a sword technique and I swung at her, and she dodged it and she hit me in the chest, but what happened after that? I sat up in the medical bed and cleared my head as I tried to track my memory to no avail. I distinctly remembered what happened up to that point where Captain Arya dodged my sword technique and counterattacked. But all that was coming up after was the image of an extremely vague, shadowy figure. I held my hand up to my chest as I could still feel the bit of pain from the clean hit to my torso earlier, and I slowly got out of bed when suddenly I heard a door open. After turning to the door, I saw Captain Arya walk in and sit down in front of me. The sunlight shone in through the window and illuminated her figure as she looked at me with a slightly concerned expression on her face. She was dressed in her uniform instead of the light armor like before when we were sparring, and her beautiful red hair and eyes contrasted with the pure white color of the knight's captain uniform, along with the small hair clip of a white flower that she'd been wearing recently. I think everyone was a little surprised when she started wearing the hair clip a few days ago, since it never seemed like Captain Arya was the type to wear accessories. But honestly, it looks really pretty on her.
You're awake, Albert. Are you okay?
A light afternoon breeze blew in through the open window and made her hair flow with the wind, as I couldn't help but stare at her speechlessly for a moment. My face blushed a bright red, and a warm feeling bubbled up inside of me as I felt urges to confess my feelings for her right there. But after a moment, I suppressed those feelings as I reminded myself about the situation. No, you can't, Albert. I know Captain Arya is perfect. She's beautiful. She's strong. And although she can act a little bit cold at times, she's genuinely kind and gentle on the inside. But no matter how much you want to tell her your feelings, remember, you can't. She's just your assigned master in swordsmanship, and you're just her coincidental student. Your relationship is nothing more, nothing less. And not only that, you're also the hero chosen by the god of light. You're destined to go fight the new demon lord in a few years with Rengus and Zane by your side. And even if you could ignore everything and just run away with her, I'm sure that with her sense of justice, she couldn't. She knows you're the hero. So even if she felt the same way, she would definitely follow you out the battlefield and fight alongside you, but she is not meant to be out there fighting with her life on the line every day, and you wouldn't want that anyway. So just be content with this. Just enjoy these carefree days while they still last. I took a deep breath once. I came back to my senses and I looked down before answering her with a slightly melancholic tone in my voice. I'm fine, Captain Arya. I just overdid it a bit when we were sparring earlier, but I'm okay now.
That's good to hear.
Sorry. To think I lost a spar badly enough to end up in the medical bay and make you worry about me. Even after personally requesting that you get a little serious this time, I guess I really am a failure as a hero. I let out a disappointed sigh and held my hands in front of me as I stared at them. A moment of silence passed as I looked at the bandages covering my hands before Captain Arya's voice broke me out of my trance.
You didn't lose, though.
Huh? I raised my head and stared at Captain Arya in confusion as she crossed her arms.
The rules were that you couldn't use any sword techniques, only body-strengthening magic up to a certain level of pure swordsmanship. But I used sword techniques to block the last thing you made, so I lost.
Wait, but didn't you dodge that last swing and hit me in the chest from below?
No, the one after that.
I passed out after that one, though, didn't I?
You don't remember the last swing you made?
The last thing I can remember was you dodging my sword technique and hitting me in the chest. What did I do after that?
I asked you if you could continue, and you said yes, so I decided to make the next strike the last one. When I closed in on you, though, your last swing at me was unexpectedly fast, enough that I couldn't dodge it, and strong enough that, well, I had to cast reinforcement to block it. So I did. And you fainted right after you finished your swing. Who taught you how to swing like that?
Who taught me? I don't know who. I don't remember being able to swing like that. and I genuinely can't remember anything past you hitting my chest.
Well, it doesn't matter who taught you. Just try and recall the feeling of the swing. It was a swing close to the level of a swordsmaster. Maybe one day that swing will save your life against the demon lord. You have somewhere important to go tomorrow, right? So just rest for now.
I watched silently as Captain Arya got out of her seat and began to leave the room, but when she got to the door, she paused and stood there. I stared at her for a moment, and an awkward silence spread through the room before she called out to me in a quiet voice.
Someone told me recently that you should be a little more open with my feelings, but honestly, I still can't communicate them very well, so I guess I'll be a little bit blunt this time. Stay alive, Albert. I would be sad if you died.
Captain Arya left the room and closed the door after she finished what she was saying, but the warm, fuzzy feeling came back full force as I stared at the door for a moment before whispering quietly to nothing in particular with a smile on my face. "Will do, Captain Arya." The Goddess of Love's Divine Domain. Eliza's House. Eliza's Point of View.
My eyes scanned through the pages of the book I was currently reading as I laid down on the couch in the living room. A few more moments of peace and quiet passed by as I flipped to the next page, when the sound of the door opening caught my attention. I got up slightly and peered over to see Rena, who was dressed in full cleaning attire, walk into the living room while holding a broom. Lady Eliza, I finished cleaning the house. What should I do now? I think Olivia mentioned that she needed you to do something, but I don't remember what it was. She's not here right now, and I guess you can take a break until she gets back. She's at the monthly meeting with the God of Light anyway, so she should be back soon. I returned to my original position on the couch and was about to open my book again when I heard someone bust open the front door. Welcome back, Lady Olivia. I've just finished cleaning the house. Lady Eliza mentioned you needed me to do something, right?
Never mind that, Rena. You can do it later.
We have more important issues to deal with right now. I turned to the door to see Olivia standing there with a serious face before she ran over to me while holding an envelope in her hands. Lady Eliza, I just finished the meeting with His Highness the God of Light, and he told me that we'd be having some visitors soon. His Highness the Chosen Hero and 2 of his allies will be coming over to visit. The hero? He sounds like someone really important. Lady Eliza, what should we do? His chosen hero. Was there someone like that? Oh, right, I remember now. Faust, that old geezer. He was rambling about the rise of a new demon lord who would turn against the gods or something like that in a few years ago. He even made us all gather up for some dumb meeting to plan for it, and I think I slept through most of it. But I do remember at the beginning he couldn't even tell us any characteristics of his supposed new demon, or even how they were going to rise to power. Apparently, his visions of the new demon lord were being masked by the power of one of the rogue gods, and only the destined hero and his fated allies would be able to stop the demon lord. But personally, I think he was just making up some nonsense to stay relevant. After all, no one visits that senile idiot anymore after he failed to predict what happened with Kai. So he probably just wanted some company. And what kind of vision can't even tell us something about the new demon lord except that they'll exist? Some god of fate he is. I mean, seriously, even if there were a new demon lord, we're gods for God's sake. We could just crush the new demon lord the moment they showed up. There is no need for a hero, and I highly doubt anyone at the level of anomaly that Kai was will be showing up anytime soon. After all, I heard that Kai was powerful enough to kill several gods without a divine spark himself, and we still managed to steal him even after he got one. So what's the puny little demon lord compared to a former blight on the gods, Kai? I'm not like everyone who sealed Kai is dead because of it either. In fact, they all lived. The main guy who sealed Kai, his former best buddy, the god of justice, what was his name again? Kazuki, or something like that. Anyway, yeah, him. He's still alive as well. In fact, he's even stronger now since he got a pretty big popularity boost after everything that was said and done. So, he took the easy road and became a high god a while ago. The hero and his allies, well, what do they want? I'm not sure. His Highness the God of Light told me to hand you this letter as soon as possible, and that it was your choice whether or not you tell me why after you read it, Lady Eliza. Olivia handed me the envelope, and she was holding as Rena stood next to her with an anxious look on her face. I held the envelope in my hands and inspected it for a moment before breaking the seal on the back and pulling out the actual letter to read it.
Dear Eliza.
Hey, it's me. Long time no see, Eliza. Well, it wouldn't be so long if you would ever show up to our scheduled monthly meetings instead of just sending Olivia over all the time. She's been running ragged because of you since I met her, and she still somehow finds the time to take care of everything you won't do. I heard you hired someone else recently, so just give the poor girl a break, would you? I feel guilty every time I see Olivia come and visit, then immediately leave after her business is done because she has to get something else done for you by the end of that day. But anyway, on to more important things. Faust told me yesterday that she finally had a new vision on the new demon lord. Apparently, there was still a lot of interference by the same rogue god, but this time it was a little weaker for some reason. So, he managed to figure out what he believes is the new demon lord's alias, the Tyrant. Now I know what you're thinking. While this alias isn't exactly the same as the one on everyone's mind once you hear Tyrant, it is eerily similar to it, especially at this time when we're just recently released Kyle. So, with this in mind, I, the God of Light, Alba Lux, would like to formally request that the Goddess of Love, Eliza Stratos, grant my chosen hero permission to enter her divine domain and search the former residence of the Tyrant of Ethereal Calamity and current true God of Death, Kyle. Look, I know you might miss him a lot, and I'm sorry if this reminds you of him, but I can't allow another tragedy like what happened 1,000 years ago to happen again, and any possible lead is a good one. Don't worry, we won't hunt down Kyle again. I promised him his freedom after his sentence, and I will stay by my word as long as he does not violate the terms of our agreement. Kazuki has vouched for his innocence too, and I myself have already seen how much he's changed, so I believe he won't commit the same sins again. It's your choice to decide whether to tell anyone else about the circumstances, but please make sure that you only let those who are trustworthy know. As of this moment, besides you, me, and Faust, only my chosen hero and his allies, along with a few other gods, know about the new demon lord's alias. Anyway, I'm sure that you'll understand and accept my request, so I've taken the liberty of assuming your agreement. I'll be sending over my chosen hero and his allies approximately an hour after Olivia returns, so I hope you cleaned up recently. Toodles! Yours truly, Alba. I let out a sigh as I stared at the poorly drawn smiley face at the bottom of the letter. After a moment, I ripped up the letter in my hands before burning it to ash using some simple fire magic. I turned to Olivia and Rena as they stared back with concerned faces and let out a tired groan before getting off the couch. Is it something we should know about, Lady Eliza? No, it's fine. Apparently, that old coot Faust has another vision about the new demon lord and found out that their alias is the Tyrant. So that superstitious idiot Alba is just going to send over the hero and his buddies in about an hour so they can check the basement. The Tyrant? I see. So they want to look through his things, huh? Olivia had a bitter smile on her face as she slowly turned towards the door to the basement, and I followed suit while Rena looked at us with a confused look on her face. Wait, I have so many questions. There's a new demon lord? What does the Tyrant mean, and what's in the basement? Don't worry, Rena. I'll explain it all after the hero and his buddies come over. Just change out of your cleaning gear because they'll be over soon.
The Goddess of Love's Divine Domain. Ritual Grounds. Rena's point of view.
I know I'm supposed to be the magical girl, Lady Eliza, but do I really have to wear this outfit? I let out a whimper and hugged my staff as I turned with an embarrassed blush to Lady Eliza, who was just wearing her pajamas like usual, in a stark contrast to Lady Olivia, who was dressed in formal robes, as she let out a disappointed sigh. 3 of us stood up in front of the ritual grounds in the backyard while we waited for the hero and his allies to show up. Lady Eliza turned to me with a proud smile on her face before replying to my question with a haughty tone in her voice. Of course you do. The outfit is basically half of what it means to be the magical girl. It's basically your uniform, and I was the one who personally designed it, so there's nothing wrong with wearing it. What do you have to worry about anyway? Even if you are only a trainee, you're still the one and only Goddess of Love, Eliza Stratos' genuine heroic spirit in name, compared to some no-name hero Alba picked. But this is embarrassing. The skirt in this outfit is too short. These stockings barely go past my knees, so my legs are showing. Besides, don't you think it's a bit much if my chest is exposed? I cried out desperately as I complained about the amount of skin I was showing, but it was all like to no avail, as Lady Eliza just ignored me and looked up at the sun in the sky to tell the time before crossing her arms with a confident smile. All right, this should be about time. Stand proud, Rena. Don't forget to pose. What? I let out a surprised yelp as a large magic circle began to form in the middle of the ritual grounds as a bright white light shone out of the magic circle, blinding me for a moment as I heard some strangely familiar voice say a few things before Lady Eliza called out to them in a smug tone. Ugh, my eyes. Where are we, Albert? Well, I think this is the Goddess of Love's divine domain, right? It should be, unless something's went wrong in the teleportation magic. Welcome to my divine domain. Heroes and his allies, I hope Alba prepared you for, well, because you're now in the Goddess of Love, Eliza Stratos' hands. Eh? I hesitantly lowered my hands in front of my face as my vision slowly came back to me, revealing 3 unexpected figures, Halbert, Rinkus, and Zane. All 3 of them were dressed in the light trainee's attire with the Church of Light symbol on it. Halbert was even bandaged up in a few places. Zane was rubbing his eyes as Halbert wobbled around a bit before replying to Lady Eliza while he was slowly regaining his vision. Greetings, Your Highness. I'm the hero Albert Elion and my allies, and Halbert raised his head to stare right at me in surprise after he regained his vision, and a moment of awkward silence passed between us as Ringus stood there silently and crossed his arms with Zane, and they stared at me too with surprised faces. Rena, is that you? What are you wearing? Oh, don't worry, Rena. I won't say anything about your choice of attire. I'm finished. My social life is done for. All the people who could have been here, the hero and his allies, why did they have to be people I know? I dropped down on my knees in defeat while tears ran out of my cheeks as Lady Eliza turned to me with a curious look on her face. Oh, wait, Rena, you know them? Because they seem to know you. Yes, Lady Eliza, they're my classmates. I'm sorry, Rena. If I had known, I would have never let Lady Eliza make you wear that outfit. Wait. Can someone please explain to me what's going on? Zane waved his arms around and cried out in confusion as Lady Eliza stared at the 3 of them before letting out a sigh. You 3 are lucky that you're also Rena's friends in addition to being Alba's chosen hero. Otherwise, I would have made you suffer a bit in place of that idiot for sending you all over without even asking first. Well, I guess you all can come in for now. I'll explain everything inside. Thank you, Your Highness. Lady Eliza turned around and started walking towards the door with her tired expression on her face as Halbert gave her a deep bow before everyone slowly followed her inside. A few minutes later, Lady Olivia left to go finish some work in the study room, while I was standing behind Lady Eliza, who was lying down on the couch nonchalantly after explaining the situation to everyone, as Halbert, Ringus, and Zane were all on their knees on the floor in front of her.
To think you were actually a heroic spirit. I would like to formally apologize for any rudeness we may have committed towards you before Lady Rena. If there's anything I can do for you to make up for my earlier discourtesy, just let me know.
Halbert lowered his head towards me and apologized as I panicked a bit and hugged my staff. No, you don't have to be so formal with me. I'm not a real heroic spirit, just a trainee. The only thing I even do around here is clean the house.
Well, that's no excuse, though. Even if you're just a trainee, you were still chosen by Her Highness, so you're on at least the same standing as me, if not higher.
See, Rena? I told you earlier, that's a measly chosen hero to one of my heroic spirits. Lady Eliza turned towards me with a smug smile on her face before letting out the posthumous laugh, and I let out a sigh as I tried my best to communicate my feelings to the trio on the floor. Look, I'm not anyone's great of anything like that. I was just lucky enough to meet Lady Eliza and Lady Olivia, so if you want to do anything for me, let's just treat me like normal. Please don't tell anyone else I wore this outfit.
Will do, Rena. Your secrets will go to the grave with me. I won't tell another soul.
I promise I won't say a thing about this, and I'm a man of my word. Thank you. I let out a sigh of relief and fell to my knees as I felt a little weak from having such a huge pressure lifted off of me. I thought about the bigger situation we were in, and my knees began to shake again. Anyway, now that we're done with that, what should we do about the new Demon Lord? Don't we have a few years left? Don't worry about it, Rena. Trust me, the gods aren't so weak as anyone can just come in here and push us around. And it's even not your problem to worry about it in the first place. It's theirs, according to that old coot Faust and that idiot Alba. These three will be the ones destined to take down the new Demon Lord, not you. So just sit back and relax. Anyway, moving on. Even though I don't want to admit it, I do all owe Alba, so you guys can check out the basement. Just let me know when you want to go so I can open it.
Really? Thank you, Your Highness. If it would be possible, we would like to investigate the basement as soon as possible.
Halbert smiled at Lady Eliza and was about to get up when suddenly Zane grabbed Halbert's shoulder with a frightened, serious look on his eyes.
Wait. Before we investigate the basement, Halbert, Ringus, don't you think there's something even more important we need to do? We're sitting in front of the goddess of love, so we should take this once-in-a-lifetime chance to have our luck and love be read.
I don't need anything like that.
Well, just because you don't need it doesn't mean that we don't, right, Halbert? Well, for me, even if I do mind read, I don't think it'll help much.
Halbert replied with a slightly sad tone in his voice, while Zane slammed his head down on the floor as he begged Lady Eliza to read his fortune. But Lady Eliza just took a casual glance at Zane on the floor before getting off the couch and walking towards the basement door.
Please, I'm begging you, Your Highness, tell me, will I ever get a girlfriend?
It's not likely.
Wait, you didn't even do anything yet. Don't you have to read my palm or something?
Who do you think I am? I don't even need to do anything to tell you're not the type who will get a girlfriend anytime soon. Trust me. I'm the one and only goddess of love, and when it comes to matters within my experience, my word is the hard truth. So if you can't handle it, then don't ask.
Damn it. Damn it all. Am I really going to be a wizard for the rest of my life?
Zane slammed the ground with his fist in despair. As tears poured out of his eyes, a few moments passed before he got up with a depressed look on his face and joined the rest of us, following Lady Eliza to the basement door as Halbert patted him on the back while letting out a dry laugh. We walked up to the entrance of the basement together as Lady Eliza held her hand out towards the door as we all took a step back. A large magic circle that glowed with a hazy white light appeared on the surface of the wooden door for a moment before a sound akin to glass breaking resonated in my ears, and a magic circle shattered into bits of light. All right, there you go. It's open. Might be a little dusty down there, though. I looked at the door curiously as Lady Eliza opened it slowly to reveal a staircase down to a room with stone walls. Speaking of which, Lady Eliza, what's even down there? The door has always been locked even when I clean, so I'm assuming that something important, but it doesn't look like there's much there, so why are we even searching it? Is it something related to the new demon lord? The moment after I finished asking, Halbert, Rengus, and Zane all put their serious faces as an atmosphere turned grave, and I got a little scared as Halbert asked Lady Eliza a question in serious tone.
Your Highness, does Rena not know?
Is it something I'm supposed to know about? No, it's fine. You're trustworthy enough. So I'll tell you about it right now. There's nothing down there except a jail cell with a small bed and a wooden desk and an old clock. It's just that person who used to sleep in that bed used the desk and to tell time with the old clock was a bit, well, extraordinary. Who was it? The current true god of death, also formerly known as the tyrant of eternal calamity. Wait. Do you mean the current true god of death? Why is he living in the basement? I started panicking as Lady Eliza closed her eyes and took a deep breath before turning to me with a narcissistic grin and laughing evilly. Are you scared, Rena? Well, don't be. After all, you're my heroic spirit, and have you forgotten who I am? I'm the one and only goddess of love, and even the true god of death has to submit to my infinite power. Now, come on, follow me. I'll show you around the basement. Lady Eliza confidently strode down the stairs into the basement and led the way as Halbert, Rengus, and Zane followed behind before I shakily made my way down after them. Calm down, Rena. Lady Eliza's right. You have nothing to be scared of. You're the one and only magical girl of love, Rena Selfly, and you can do this.